Hare Krishna. Welcome back to our study of the Yoga Sutras. Today we are going to discuss Sutra number 38, which is a very powerful sutra to help us control the mental disturbances or the chitta vikshepas. So let us begin by seeing how the sutra is recited. Swapna nidra jnana lambanam va. What does it mean? Swapna means dreams. Nidra means a state of sleep. Alambana means, if you remember, we discussed this term in sutras number 10 and also in 17. If you don't remember, I request you to go back to that particular video and revise that concept. Basically, alambana means the support of our mental consciousness. So swapna nidra, when sleep and dream become the support of our consciousness, or in other words, when we are either dreaming or when we're in a state of deep sleep, jnana, the knowledge that we acquire in that particular state, can also help us in overcoming the mental disturbances. So the knowledge attained when dream and deep sleep are the support of our awareness, that can also help in understanding the overcoming the chitta vrittis. Right now, this verse can seem like a contradiction, because if you remember, when we discussed the whole idea of vrittis, we categorized sleep, nidra, as one such vritti in Sutra number 10. Now, again, Patanjali is talking about sleep as a basis to overcome the mental distractions. Right? Now, this seems like a contradiction, right? So to understand this, we need to go a little deeper in terms of the inner workings of the mind. Now, if you look at how the human mind works, we can broadly classify it at three layers. There is the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and there is the superconscious mind. Most of us, we are aware of our conscious mind. Right now, when we are interacting with the world, all our dominant thoughts and memories are majorly based on the conscious mind. But many of us do not realize that actually what drives human behavior is our subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is the repository of so many memories, so many impressions that we have gathered, not just in one lifetime, across multiple lifetimes, right? And that is what defines our personality, right? And it is these impressions that are coming from the subconscious mind that affect us many times, or if not many times, all the times, on our conscious plane, right? And that is why you will realize that certain things, certain people, certain situations, certain places may tend to create some irrational responses in you, emotional responses in you. Certain kind of people may trigger, unknown joy or unknown unease, unknown sadness, right? Certain musics or certain fragrances will trigger different kind of emotions. So all this information repository is there in the subconscious space. Why am I using the term subconscious? Because we are not even aware of it, of its presence, but it is very strongly influencing us. While the superconscious state is the state of our awareness that we realize in the state of Samadhi. It's a very advanced stage when we are gone past those chitta vrittis. That dynamic state of awareness is the superconscious state. Mind you, Samadhi is not a static state. We had a discussion on this earlier as well. So that dynamic state of Samadhi is a state where we experience the superconsciousness, right? Now, this concept is very beautifully explained in an Upanishad called as the Mandukya Upanishad, where it talks about how there are these four states in which we can access these three levels of consciousness. What are the four states, right? So why understanding of those four states is so important is because if I really want to control my chitta vikshepas, my mental disturbances, it's not about controlling my conscious responses, but I should be able to go deeper and clean up my subconscious mind, right? And that is the critical part. And it's not so easy to access that subconscious mind. There's a specific state in which you can access subconscious mind. So what those states are, and understanding them is going to be very critical if we really want to work on our real inner us, right? The subconscious us. So what are these 4 states then? The first state is what is called a jagruta in Sanskritam, or the wakeful state. Like right now, we are all wakeful. We are hearing, we are perceiving things around us. We are actively using our senses, and all this information is going. So that is a conscious plane of working, jagruta, right? But then the subconscious self gets activated mainly in 2 states. This is called as swapna, which is the dream state, and the shushupti, which is called as a deep sleep state. Mind you, this deep sleep is not like the ordinary sleep that we experience, right? In fact, the ordinary sleep is very close to the dream state. Even though it seems like our external senses are shut down, but the internal mind is very active, and that's why everybody dreams. Some may not remember, some do, but even the modern scientific understanding is that everybody dreams, right? And in fact, there's a very small time frame when we actually have that real deep rest. That is the state of this deep sleep, or shushupti, right? And beyond these 2 states, right, that is the superconscious state, is accessed in the state of trance, which is called as turiya, right? Now, if you remember our whole discussion, Patanjali is giving us a method to control the chitta vikshepas, which are mainly stemming from the subconscious space, because the superconscious space is very pure. So how do I access this subconscious space? Either in the swapna or in that state of nidra, or deep sleep, right, or shushupti stage. So these 2 states can be accessed through these specific processes. One, the dream state can be used for inner cleansing, for spiritual growth, through this technique of lucid dreams. Now, this is not a modern technique. In fact, it has been mentioned in the Vedic texts also. What are these lucid dreams? These are the dreams where actually we are choreographing the flow of the dream. Now, most dreams, why do they occur? They are just a mental release. All the tensions and anxieties that we carry during the day, right? When they are not processed properly, it's just like how unprocessed food, it has to come out one way or the other. Likewise, so much of unprocessed thoughts that we impress upon ourselves, they need to come out. They need an avenue to release. And usually dreams are the ways in which these things are released, right? Now, most of our dreams, we are not in control of them. We are just a participant in the dream, and you may see a tiger chasing you, or you're falling out from a cliff, or you are sitting and enjoying ice cream, having a good time, right? We are not in control of such a dream. However, lucid dreams are different, where with a lot of practice, in fact, it is described that it is not an ordinary practice, right? It's not such an easy practice. In fact, this is also kind of an advanced practice, where the participant learns to control one's dreams. And it is not so easy, because there is a lot of planning that has to be done while we are in our wakeful state. All those impressions, we should be very mindful of what kind of impressions we are impressing upon ourselves, thoughts we are impressing upon ourselves, right? And all of those define the nature of that lucid dream, right? In fact, Vijnana Bhikshu, a classical commentator, he explains that how sometimes a yogi will have dreams of the Lord. Yeah, now these are like literally not like ordinary dreams, but they are literally like visions. And that experience of seeing the Lord face to face actually helps in calming their mind. In that way, such dreams are very powerful. So these are not ordinary dreams. They are very spiritually oriented dreams that help in cleansing the subconscious mind. Now, some of these things are beyond our control. However, the yogic texts also talk about another method of addressing the subconscious mind through this process called as Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is a state where we try to enter into this deep sleep state. And this is actually a more sustainable way of doing it, because if you remember, we spoke about the Jagruta state earlier, which is predominantly in the mode of rajas. Dreams are predominantly the mode of tamas, because we are not in control of the whole situation, right? We're just helpless, we are ignorant in that state. So that is predominantly in tamas. So dealing with the dream space is actually a little risky, because if you're not in control, you will end up gliding in the mode of tamas. Whereas Shushupti is actually a very sattvic state of consciousness, right? And it can be accessed through this technique of Yoga Nidra. Now, why are we using the term Yoga Nidra and not just Nidra? Like Patanjali in this sutra also, he says Swapna Nidra Jnana Alambanam. He just uses the term Nidra because he presumes that we understand this concept. This is not ordinary sleep, but it is the method of deep sleep or Yoga Nidra. I'd like to call Yoga Nidra as active sleeping, right? It may sound contradiction, but actually why are we calling it active sleep? Because it is not ordinary sleep, but this is the state of sleep where you are semi-conscious, you're semi-awake, right? So what are the steps that are involved in this Yoga Nidra, right? We'll try to understand that. The first step that is involved is where we first go through a state of relaxation, where we try to systematically relax the different parts of our body, and there's a particular sequence also in which we do that. We lie down in Shavasana and we start meditating on the different limbs of our body. Right? Of course, there's a more elaborate, detailed course that is there on our learning portal, on our website. So if anybody is interested, you can please, access that course as well and understand the intricacies of that. But I'm just giving a very quick overview here, because in principle, what happens is we are first trying to relax the body. Why are we trying to relax the body? Right? If you remember, most of our bodily functions are controlled by our conscious mind. The conscious mind is like a hard shell around the very, very soft, impressionable subconscious mind. Now, as children, both their conscious mind and subconscious mind is very soft or very impressionable. But as we go through the ups and downs of life, as we become more mature, as we come into adulthood, in order to protect our impressionable subconscious mind, we end up making our conscious mind very hard. We form our ideologies, we form our judgments, we form our own worldviews and what is right and what is wrong, etc. Right? And so things outside cannot, impress us or penetrate past that conscious layer and affect us at a subconscious layer. So, right. So in order to access the subconscious mind, I need to first relax the conscious mind, make it soft, literally dissolve it. And that is what happens through physical relaxation, right? And once you relax on a physical plane, and now that, the outer layer, I give the example of a coconut, how the outer shell is so hard and the inside pulp is so tender and soft. So once the outer shell of the conscious mind dissolves, then we do the next step of making a resolve. What are the resolve? These are like very affirmations, right? So you see, there is the physical body, senses and prana first are relaxed. Then the intelligence comes into play, right? And while all of this is happening, there is a facilitator who's narrating the sequence of steps that we need to do, right? And that's why I call it as active sleeping, because while you're relaxed all your senses, you keep just your ears open. And when the suggestion comes that now it's time to make a resolve, we internally make a resolve. Making a resolve is like sowing a seed of change in our subconscious space, right? And then the third step, which is perhaps the most important, a very powerful step, is the reform stage, where certain mental visual cues are suggested. And these cues, whenever they are narrated, we just allow the mind to bring out whatever visual may come up. And this is the most powerful among all these three stages of Yoga Nidra, because these mental visualizations are basically the channel through which we allow the subconscious mind to open up and cleanse itself. Right? Whatever is suppressed within the subconscious space comes out very actively, very dominantly during this particular stage. Now, this visualization is not like imagination. Right? When I say imagination or mental reconstruction, right? For example, a visual cue of, a boat comes, right? So then it is not that you are thinking, oh, boat, oh, this should be the shape of the boat has to be on water. You're not mentally constructing that image, but rather when the word boat comes, you just allow whatever that is there in your subconscious space to come out. For some people, it could just be a boat. Perhaps if they are good in boating, maybe their experience of that successful boating adventure that they had may come up. For somebody, boat could also mean fear. Maybe as a young child, their boat capsized and maybe they fell in water, and maybe they had some very close experience of drowning, and it could be a moment of fear. It could be a memory of fear, right? So the idea is to allow whatever that visual cue means to us to come out. That way, many things that we hide or suppress in our subconscious space comes out. Believe it or not, it is these hidden, suppressed subconscious impressions that create disturbance during our meditation, right? Very actively. Anybody who has tried meditation techniques, you will see those are the kind of disturbances, perhaps past experiences of sensory pleasures, or maybe past regrets with people or some life decisions in that you've made. All of those things, they come out very dominantly along with the emotional response during our meditation, right? Actually, they are there even during our wakeful state, but we don't realize it so evidently. But during meditation, they come out because you have kind of quietened the noise of all other active thoughts. So you can see these thoughts very dominantly. It is just like a silent whisper that is going around. When you are in a busy room, you cannot hear the whisper, but when everybody is quiet, you can hear the whispers very dominantly. So the subconscious noises are like those whispers. So during this Yoga Nidra technique, what we do is we amplify those subconscious noises, right, and deal with them in a proper way. So this is such a powerful technique for this inner cleansing, and by doing so, we'll be able to deal with the vikshepas, with the disturbances that are coming in our mental space, like that. So you can see such a powerful technique that Patanjali has offered. And finally, in the next sutra, Patanjali is going to conclude this series of techniques that he's giving us to help our chitta vikshepas, and we'll see how there has been a very systematic pattern in the various suggestions that Patanjali has given us in this whole section. So stay tuned, and please do follow this course further, and see you all soon in our next session. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.